feels good for a little while to vent about some of the hypocrisies of our modern society. But that in and of itself can quickly spiral into something else. I know as well as anyone how being in these communities and interacting with them can send you almost into this feedback loop of anger as they continuously stoke your frustration and push you into being angrier and angrier every single day. And here's the thing, most of the time, if you're angry, then you're not thinking rationally. And if you're not thinking rationally, then you are not looking at the popular MGTOW talking points and arguments with any kind of critical eye. And if you're not looking at these things critically, then you're likely to go deeper and deeper into this movement without ever really thinking about what it is that you are starting to get yourself involved in.
Okay, so there's some really good points being made here by this young man. If you're angry, you're not capable of making rational decisions. That is something that young MGTOW, anyone who's in this guy's position, so you're coming from a broken relationship of some kind, you're vulnerable. Everybody knows that. And that's the time you should be reflecting on relationships, on where you are and what you're about. That's when you need to be doing that, rather than searching out groups and communities looking for support. This is about picking yourself up and dusting yourself off. Right, you do it yourself. You don't go out looking for men in a rage. That's the wrong time to be doing that. Once you've understood where you are, sometimes you will get back on the horse. You think that the next relationship's going to be better, and you'll try again. Sometimes it might work. I think the red pill needs to be looked at before you embark on another relationship. I think you should get some red pill into you, just to open your eyes up and know where you're going. I'm not saying you go MGTOW at that point. I'm just saying have a look at the red pill, and you'll get that off those forums. And that's what this young man is saying. He's saying that you should be able to look at it with a critical eye before you carry on down the rabbit hole, as he's saying. So, yeah, I think he's jumped into MGTOW a little bit early in his development, and he's got his fingers burnt. It's a rough world out there. You got to be a man to go your own way. All right? I'm not saying man up or anything like that. I'm just saying, men are men. We're not boys.
There's a pretty commonly known technique in sales that if you can get somebody to say yes to a small thing, then you can start to kind of chain yeses together until you finally get to the big ask and you make the sale. Certain movements and indeed cults are exactly the same way. And in many ways, MGTOW does this as well. So let's take an example. You went through a rough relationship where your girlfriend was verbally and physically abusive to you. People in the MGTOW movement tell you that that sucks, but you're not alone, that it happened to this guy and this guy and this guy, and that's terrible, right? Yeah, that's pretty awful, you say. In fact, the way that the statistics are reported are pretty flawed, and men are hugely underrepresented in those misleading statistics. Isn't that awful? Yeah, you say once again. And if it can happen to you, then it could happen to anyone, right? Yeah. And no one believed you, right? Yeah. And the so-called feminists who are all about ending domestic abuse, they didn't even seem to care, right? Yeah. They're such hypocrites, right? Yeah. In fact, they're the ones who are making women feel like they can take out their anger and turn on us with physical abuse. Feminism is what's to blame here. Feminism and women. And so what starts out as a pretty reasonable statement of empathy quickly chains together a lot of yeses and starts to lead you down a ladder to more and more extreme beliefs. At the start of that, you just wanted somebody to empathize with you, and at the end of that, you're agreeing that because one woman was domestically abusive towards you, that feminism and all women are to blame.
Yeah, so he's made a few more good points there. That stringing yeses together as in sales. I've never been in sales, so I knew nothing about that. That's new to me, and good insight on that one. Now, he has strung a lot of points there together and come to the conclusion women and feminism are to blame because of one bad relationship. This is like he's conflating those issues, right? He needs to have got over that bad relationship before he's strung those yeses together, if you like, strung those points together, because not all women are to blame, obviously, but there's, like, women are social creatures, as we keep getting told by women, and they talk to each other about issues and how to interact with men. Like these response videos that I've seen, they're all talking the same point, you're the common denominator, you're the problem, it's not the women, blah, 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 blah. It's like they've read from the same playbook. And this is like my experience with dating in my 30s and early 40s. All of the dates went through the same pattern, and that was, you'd have about 3 weeks. Like the first 3 weeks, the woman was keeping things secret from her friends, and then you'd be let in to her little circle. You might meet her best friend first or something. Eventually, you'd might meet a parent or two. Depends on her age, of course. But around about 10 weeks in, you've done the dirty weekend away, and you've done the picnic or get out and do a walk or something. Some activities that she's organised, jumping through her hoops and passing the little tests and whatnot. And then about 10 weeks in, she'll make, like on the Monday or Tuesday of the week, she'll organise that you're together on the Saturday, and then it'll come to the Thursday or the Friday of the week, and she'll cancel. She's got an old friend coming in from out of town, or her sister's coming over to help paint the kitchen, or some fucking excuse, and you've got to graciously accept that the plans are put on hold just to let her know that you're not number one, or whatever it is, whatever they're proving. And it just, once you'd gone through that pattern, 10 times, you've come to the realisation that they've read some book or some magazine article on how to manipulate men into a relationship or something. I used to just ghost them at that stage, and I'd had enough by then. Go on, move on to the next one. This guy, he's seen MGTOW as a cult, and he's got those MGTOW talking points strung together, and they're still legitimate points, what he's said. But it's not about blaming women and feminism. It's about, like, feminism has the power to lobby governments to enact laws. And so feminism is to blame in some regard, but as a MGTOW, you're out of it. It's not important. It's not important as a MGTOW to blame women or to blame feminism. You've got to look after yourself. You've got to do the best you can for yourself in your life. Live your life. You only get it once.
They are stoking your anger and stopping you from thinking critically. You're starting to forget why it is that you came to this community in the first place, for support and for self-improvement. And sure, you found a community, but there's not all that much support after the initial empathetic drawing you in. And there's certainly not a whole lot of self-improvement. It's a perpetual stream of gasoline onto a fire that you were hoping to extinguish. Suddenly it's not about you. It's about all women, and it's about all men, and it's about all feminists who are trying to destroy our society. It's no longer about you getting better. It's about destroying the enemy. This is a war now. The traditional sign for MGTOW is an arrow that branches off from a main arrow. Based on how this community actually works, I believe that a more appropriate sign would be a main arrow with another arrow cropping out of the side of it that loops back upon itself. It pushes you into this loop of stoking your anger and frustration and leading that back around to an illogical conclusion that all women and all feminists are to blame for this. And again, all you wanted was to come to this community to learn more about yourself and who you are outside of society and relationships. And that is how the MGTOW community draws you in. It twists your noble intentions of wanting to be better as a man and starts you down a path to more and more extreme beliefs. I know, because I was there. I just wanted to figure out who I was as a person, because I'd been through a really bad breakup and I was really struggling with life on the whole. And this was what I found.
Well, I am genuinely sorry to hear that. I think partly you've got to look at yourself a little bit to understand that you are looking to improve yourself, to understand yourself. You're looking to understand yourself and improve yourself outside of society and outside of relationships, and you're looking for a community to do that. Now, I don't know about you, but I see a dichotomy there. I see a disconnect in that you're trying to understand yourself and you approach a community to do that. You need to be understanding yourself from yourself. You can't get that from a community. The community that you're thinking of doesn't exist for a start, but unless you're actually physically with these people, you've got no idea who they are or why they are saying what they're saying. So there's there must be this generational thing. Community to me is actual people, not just videos on a screen, in real life, IRL. So I think MGTOW can support one another in the MGTOW lifestyle, but you've got to get there before you can support one another. I think you're a young man reaching out at a vulnerable time in your life, and you've like you say, you've been in a position where you're not critically thinking the way you need to be. And my advice is to have another look at MGTOW. make your own decisions about what you want to do regarding MGTOW and these forums. And you're probably now in a good position, a position where you can think independently and critically and make your own decisions about things. So probably MGTOW wasn't good for you back then, but MGTOW is probably just what you need now. Just have another look is what I'm saying. Have another look.
So that's going to be the end of the first part of this video. In tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about how MGTOW really should work and what we should be doing to reform the community and to make it for the betterment of men instead of this constant opposition against women that is getting us absolutely nowhere. So thank you very much for watching. If you got this far, I hope that you will leave a like on the video because it really helps to support the channel. And really, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in part 2 tomorrow.